I saw a movie. I saw Cocaine Bear.
How'd you like that? I really haven't seen anything about, like, I haven't seen a trailer. I haven't seen anything about this.
Well, I meant to go see Creed 3 because I'm a lifelong Rocky fan and I feel like I owe it to somebody to go see it. Even though the Stallone-lessness of it all throws me off. But Nina
He's
was
a snake. He stole my franchise from me.
So you mean you're never going to go see it? No, never, ever, ever. Never will I ever.
I wanted something to leave to my kids.
Don't I have rights to my own property? But Nina wasn't the slightest bit interested. We had a date night opportunity, and she was like, "You want to go see a movie?" And I was like, "Yeah, Creed 3." She was like, "No." Very, very unusual that she
Interesting.
will do that. So, but she was like, "I'll give you 3 other options." She's like, Cocaine Bear, and there was like 2 others that she was interested in that I can't remember. And so I was like, all right, let's go see this coke. I'd like to have some of this cocaine. That's from Dewey Cox.
I'm thinking maybe I'd like to try me some of that cocaine.
So we saw it, and so Elizabeth Banks directed it. A famous actress / she directed the Pitch Perfect movies and the Charlie's Angels movie.
Right.
Highest grossing female director of all time with the Pitch Perfect movies.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Well.
Those movies actually were very, very successful.
So this is kind of branching out then.
Yeah, so you've probably heard the story. There was a real life story in the 90s. This plane that dumped a bunch of coke. The coke was found by a bear, and the bear ate it all and died. And so she adapted it into what if the bear ingesting the coke went on a coke-fueled rage, and it's a horror comedy about people encountering this. They've got like Ray Liotta and Alden Ehrenreich as like these criminals, and it becomes this big sort of like ensemble comedy cast.
So it sounds pretty Snakes on a Plane type of thing.
Yeah. Having the Bag put it really well. They were saying like all of a sudden it feels like studios are doing what like Roger Corman or something like that would have done, or Troma, where it's like, here's like the sensationalist title, the ridiculous poster, and the movie is almost irrelevant,
I think that they should do that.
Yeah.
And bring back the broad comedy too.
Yeah. Well, so this movie's not perfect. And I would say the thing that's the most flawed about it is I don't think it ever really strikes the tonal balance correctly. It doesn't feel enough. It's definitely a horror comedy, but I don't know. You don't. I had a hard time getting into the groove of the tone of it. And I think the main reason for that was, like, first of all, the characters were going over the top. They were going in and out of being over the top. I remember I learned that on a movie early on when I made Abo. We had a character that was like, totally cringe, as the kids would say, on purpose. And we didn't do anything in the movie to counterbalance him. We didn't have anybody reacting to him to tell the audience, like, this guy's an idiot and is not well received by the public. So for all some audience members, for all they knew, we were him or something. So this movie has a little bit of that problem at times, where like sometimes it's based in reality and sometimes it's based in the kind of surreality of it all. And that's not at all helped by the fact that the CG of the bear is not good and it's not bad. It's neither.
Interesting.
It's sometimes it looks really good, but it never looks perfect. And sometimes it looks quite bad. And so you have, and they have the bear doing crazy stuff like scaling a tree really fast or jumping out of onto an ambulance, and they've got it doing crazy stuff. And so I don't know, like I
feel like I would have played it completely straight the whole time. That would be how I would, if you said make a horror comedy, or because the comedy would be the absurdity of it. So I would just play it straight, because then it makes you, that's how I would do it. So making the bear actually frightening. The premise is still the premise where he eats the cocaine. Yeah. And like everyone plays it straight. Everyone's in like, plays a drop dead serious. Yeah, it's definitely played for laughs, for sure. There's a few deaths that are pretty goddamn gruesome. There's one in particular that here, can I spoil it? Spoilers for anybody. If you just don't want to hear about the coolest death in the movie.
There's a character actress, I forget her name. She plays like a park ranger, and she's been wounded by the bear, and she's in an ambulance, and she's on the stretcher, so she's like tied to the stretcher, and the bear attacks the ambulance, and it causes the ambulance, which is speeding, to like her stretcher is launched out of it, but she's tied to it, and she lands face down in the road, and she just like skids her face across the pavement and just dies that way. So that was probably the most memorable part of the movie for me. So Elizabeth Banks is apparently kind of fucked up, and
Yeah.
but so all of that having been, all of my critiques, all of it, it's not a perfect movie. Nina and I had a great date night, like, because that's the
Great.
thing about going out to a comedy in a theater is it doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
You like, it was me and my wife hanging out, laughing at this stupid movie, enjoying the good parts, you know, like just like sucking in the good parts. And
Well, yeah. Even when we were, we saw Ant-Man together, it was great because we could talk to each other. We could, laugh when the audience laughs. It's great. It's you need that feedback.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, we talk about Kevin Smith a lot and how he hasn't been making great movies lately. And I saw a Jay and Silent Bob reboot with a live audience, and I saw Clerks 3 as a Fathom event. And let me tell you, it helps those movies a lot to be around other people who are laughing. Those movies don't play well at home. Yeah, so that's definitely like part of the, a lot of like what we enjoy about movies is based on our memory of the experience of watching the movie. It's just almost a little bit divorced from the film itself in some ways. And like where you were, who you were with, the cultural moment, all that sort of stuff. And when everything is enjoyed in a rush at home by yourself, it just ain't the same.
Yeah, it's not the same. It's not the same. I did watch a couple episodes of the new season of South Park.
Oh,
I
nice.
think especially the Chat GPT one, it's pretty good.
Bro.
Yeah, that's great. They're doing the text with the women and just put it. Just
But he was just
copying
doing
it.
a thumbs up at first.
I've definitely been guilty of that.
There's nothing a spouse likes less than,
Then
come on, who's the guy who's fucking that up? We got to talk to him.
and I like the bidet episode too because it's like
Old Blue.
and then he gets JFK'd. It's pretty good.
Funny.
I mean,
they still got it.
They're obviously lost some things, but they're still creative. They're still funny. They're still fun. It's good that they exist.
I've noticed that much like Curb Your Enthusiasm or something, they're making shows less frequently, and they're not even like this season. They're not cranking them out week after week. They'll take like a break for a week, and I think just as they get older, they're recognizing their own limits, and they're like, it's not good for the show. It's not good for us to just stretch it beyond what's reasonable.
Oh, aren't they getting sued by Warner Brothers because they made like specials on Paramount Plus,
Yeah.
and they're making episodes, and they're like, these specials seem a lot like episodes.
They're like, hey,
I feel like you're double dipping on us.
yeah, they're suing for $500 million, the total amount that HBO paid for South Park. They're like, you're in violation. These fucking streamers, man, it gets brutal out there.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I did notice that because I was on HBO Max. I'm like, oh, wasn't there like a pandemic special? Oh, it's over somewhere else.
Yeah,
It's over on Frankie's Plex.
Frankie Flicks.
Subscribe to Red Cow Entertainment on Patreon for full episodes every other week.